Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Plough Lane Podcast, episode 6. As usual, we've got so much to talk about. We had a really good win against Barrow. We're going to talk about the key players. There was quite a lot of them, impactful substitutions, Plough Lane turning into a fortress. And there's quite a lot of injuries going on at the moment, and there's been players coming in and doing well, getting the job over the line. We had Johnnie Jackson and Terry Skiverton sign new contracts. Bugle and Little are the two players which need to sign contracts at the end of the year if we want to keep them going. And then we'll finish off with talking about Accrington and Morecambe and how important that is, especially when you look at the league table. Today, we have 3 other guests on the podcast. We're joined by Hector in the top right, Scotty Garbutt in the bottom left, more known as the DE11 Dons. So that's really good. You love to see it. And Kian in the bottom right. We're going to start with Scott, as you are new to the podcast. How are you, and how are you feeling after
very good, Reese.
Win over Barrow?
Yeah, thank you for having me on your podcast. Very good. I think I put on your Twitter yesterday that I was expecting a 2-0 loss.
Yeah.
And I fully expected it. Everybody spoke to me, you're going to win today? Nah, no chance. But we were very good all over the park. First 15, 20 minutes. They were shell-shocked. I mean, it's the first time ever I've seen a team take off 2 players in 33 minutes, I think it was. So it's quite embarrassing on their part, but for us, very, very good with a very makeshift back line as well. Clean sheet, very good as well.
Yep, I agree with you. I think we really had to start well against Barrow because they're really good defensively as well. If you're going like 0-0 into the second half, like they put loads of pressure on us in the first stages of the second half. And if they clawed a goal back then it could have been a different story. Hector, we were at the game yesterday, a 2-0 win over Barrow. What were your initial thoughts on our victory?
Probably arguably the best or one of the best games at Plough Lane this season. I thought for the full 90, we were the dominant side. I mean, even though we didn't take many of our chances in the second half, I thought we were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Kian, what about yourself?
I mean, it's an amazing performance against a very good side this season. 2 goals against the top 4/3 side and a clean sheet is nothing else but perfect, really.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, we haven't really beaten a lot of teams in the top half. I think probably Barrow, Notts County, Harrogate, the ones that really come to mind, Mansfield. Scott, how important is beating these teams around, especially when you look at the table and that is so tight at the moment?
Now more than ever, second half of the season, you've got to start thinking about beating these hard teams, put yourself more in the mix. You've got a couple of teams now putting runs together. Harrogate come out of nowhere. I mean, when we played them, I think they were about 17th, 18th.
I don't even think they were that good, to be honest.
Yeah, they weren't. We weren't good that day either, I don't think. So we got away with one there. But beating teams now around us comes to a lot. And like you say, we've got Accrington Tuesday night. That's another big game. Morecambe as well. Morecambe did a proper number on us up their place.
Yeah.
Beating teams around us is something that we definitely need to improve on. I mean, at home, we are looking much better against these sort of teams. Notts County, Mansfield and Barrow. All 3 of them came down to Barrow. Even Wrexham came down. We should have beat them as well, missed a penalty and stuff like that. So, Plough Lane is where we're getting these results.
Exactly. I think we should move on to the lineup. A pretty strong lineup, to be honest. We had Bass in goal, Ogundare right back, the combination of Barmer and Brown at centre back, Curry at left back, Ball and Little. I thought they were brilliant in the midfield. Tilly on the right, Bugle in that 10 role, Curtis on the left, and Kelly up top. Kian, do you think it was the right lineup, or do you think something should have been changed? What do you think?
I mean, obviously, what we have right now with all the injuries and things like that, I feel like it's the perfect lineup, really. I mean, there's so many players in that lineup that have really impressed me. For example, Brown at a centre back, playing better than he usually does at left back. I mean, I would say that's definitely the best lineup we can put out with the injuries we have.
Exactly. Hector, is that kind of the same feel for you?
Yeah, pretty much the strongest we can do with all the injuries. And when we have Reeves, Lewis, and Jono back, this team is going to be absolutely incredible.
It's going to be a team which is fighting for places, which is, I think, it's really good. It's really healthy. We've got so many, and we've got depth in every single position, which I think is really important. We'll talk about the bench. We had Pell, which came on in the 68th minute. Sasu came on also in the 68th minute. O'Toole came on for his debut in the 81st. So did Davison, not for his debut, but on the 81st minute. Then Zanev, Pearce and McLean were the unused subs. I wanted to quickly move and talk on about how impactful the substitutions are. Just because you bring on, especially when you're playing teams against Barrow in the second half, they put so much pressure on us, and they kind of looked like they were going to score. But I think defensively we were brilliant. Scott, do you think it was the right subs that we made, bringing on Pell? He had that little bit of shithousery about him, to be honest. Sasu, I thought he played well at all. What do you think about the subs and how impactful were they?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I did the ratings, and not one player was underneath the 6. I mean, Sasu against teams that are really struggling, when they've got all the ball against us and we're struggling to get out on the break. Sasu against tired legs is frightening. The way they were playing, they penned us in for 10, 15 minutes, and Sasu just went on a run, and obviously you got Jack Curry overlapping him every now and then. Yeah. He's fantastic, and like you say, Powell with his dark arts, very, very good in games when you need it. There's no point doing it 1-0 up, after 20 minutes, but he's doing it in the right time in the right areas. I mean, he was on the corner. I think had 4 lads trying to rugby tackle him at one point.
And somehow they gave Barrow a free kick.
Yeah. And O'Toole, it's nice to see O'Toole coming on. I think he's, the older head of him, and he got a bit of aggression in him. He was flying in tackles, and he was trying to win everything in the air, which is something we haven't really got in midfield. Ball's a tall lad, but he never goes and wins many headers. So it's something we probably need in midfield, which is a nice little signing.
Exactly. It is. Kian, these are obviously the subs on the screen right now. Do you think it was the right subs that we made? Just kind of the same question as Scott. I think, in my opinion, the subs that we made were quite good. How do you think they faced against Barrow when they came on?
I think when these type of subs come on, obviously we don't have much power in the bench, but when they come on, I feel like a lot of fans get annoyed with players like Pell and Davison to come on, because obviously Pell's only really brought on to, like you said, for shithousery. But then obviously that's what we needed that game. And even Davison impressed me slightly with some of his runs and whatnot. Obviously, he didn't have much game time. And same with O'Toole as well. I feel like it works out in the end. A managerial masterclass, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when you look at last season where we were going 1-0 up, bottling it all the time. And we'll move on to a stat in a minute, talking more about Plough Lane being a fortress. But yeah, it was so good to see a great win. And we've just got to start kicking on and getting more victories over the line. We've got a tough February and then March period. March looks even tougher. Hector, I'm going to go back to you. I'm going to put the lineup back on the screen. Who do you think played well? Give me a couple star players in your eyes. I think everyone played well, but name a few.
I thought Barmer, he was brilliant, as well as Brown. Our 2 centre-backs, they looked really solid. Barmer, he just looked so calm and confident in the ball. Brown, no mistakes from him. He even looked so good. When he felt like it, he just started running at defenders on the other side of the pitch. So, I think he was brilliant as well. So the defence stood out for me.
That's the Brown way. When he gets bored, he's just going to turn into a cam.
People.
But yeah, it is what it is. Kian, a really good performance by every single player. Who are your star performances?
I would say Brown is one of the underrated players in the team at the moment, but I would definitely say a star performance would be either Little or Bugle or Curtis. One of those three.
I think Little was done really well. Just going to move on to your point about Little. It's just, especially because he's had Little and Reeves. He's had Reeves next to him for the majority of the season, and Bull's come in and he's done really well together. And I even think when Little's a captain, he commands the team really well. And I think that's really important. Like I was watching the Match Day Uncovered this morning, and then whenever we scored, he was always saying like, get back in position, keep your heads. And then because it always seems like whenever we score or whenever we score, a team always loves to put pressure on us. And yeah, that's really good to see that we're holding out our defence. Scott, what were your couple players which stood out for you? And give me your man of the match, and then I'll move on to Kian and Hector for your man of the match.
Yeah, it's tricky to pick just a few. But yeah, Barmer and Brown. I mean, I was at Bradford last week, and when me and my dad seen the lineup, we're like, no way. And this a bit worrying. And Brown gave us a few scares. Don't get me wrong, he did. And the few around us were saying, yeah, it gives you an heart attack. But yesterday, he didn't put a foot wrong Brown, and it's nice to see that somebody like Brown, with all the EFL experience, is playing next to somebody like Balmer. I mean, Balmer is brilliant. There was a part yesterday where I think he literally a couple of keepy-ups, flicked over somebody's head, and then like smashed it flying out over to Curtis. But Curtis and Balmer for me. I'm only saying I'm not only saying not Brown just because of what happened last week at Bradford.
If you had to pick one, who was your man of the match and why?
I'm going to say Balmer because he was on a yellow card early as well.
That's true.
And to keep on playing like that the way he was playing, very aggressive sort of defender. Would loves to come and head and clear it, and his diags are very impressive at times as well.
Yeah,
he does
exactly.
love a diag.
Everyone loves a diag, especially. Yeah, cool. Kian, who is your man of the match, your main player, and tell me why?
I feel like I just have to go Barmer as well, to be honest. I would say the defensive performance with them was immaculate that game. I would have to pick between Brown and Barmer, but I would have to pick definitely Barmer. 100%.
I think Barmer's done really well, especially when he's came in and his long throw-ins, which we'll get onto in a minute, because that's another way which we can attack into the goal. Literally, I remember at one point in the game, the Barrow player was running towards the line, and instead of putting it out for a throw-in in the corner, he put it out for a corner. That's so funny that he'd rather have a corner instead of a long.
I think
throw
it was an accident.
Barmer.
To be fair, it seemed. I think he thought the ball went out. To be honest, for a throw. So
yeah,
it
seemed like an absolute shocking touch.
Yeah, it could have been a shocking touch, but yeah, it is what it is. Hector, who is your man of the match?
Brown, easily Brown. He didn't make a single mistake. He was so solid, and I think over the last couple of games, he's been brilliant. So he deserves a man of the match at some point.
He does, and even centre back isn't his primary position. Like, it's really good to see him coming in, doing a job next to Kofi Barman, and it's a new back line, especially the centre backs. And yeah, that's really good to see. I just want to say Ogundare was brilliant as well yesterday. I thought he put a shift in, and ever since Huss had a horrible performance at Franchise away, shocking performance, and then ever since he's come in, he's done really well, and I think he should keep his place. Yeah, he definitely should keep his place. Biller, he's good attacking wise, but he's just defensive wise, especially against Peterborough as well. Like, he got brought in because obviously that doesn't count as a game which he's suspended for. But yeah, Ogundare is going to stay in the lineup. For my man of the match, I'm going to go with Barmer as well. He's just been brilliant. Like, he's so calm and collected on the ball. I've said this so many times, but I've rated him ever since. The attacking throw-ins is a new way to attack. I'm going to say they're better than Ben Tozer's Wrexham one. They get further. And apparently in an interview, his brother does them as well, and they go longer, which is pretty scary. So imagine if we had him in the squad. But yeah, Plough Lane is turning into quite a fortress. In the last 10 games at Plough Lane, we have won 8 of them, which is a really good stat to see, especially when you look at the home form that we had at the start of the season, like in probably August, September and October. When you look at just home league games, we were near the bottom of the table. Scott, how important is it to pick up these points at home, especially because the away form hasn't been the best, and it's always harder to pick up points away from home? Yeah,
it's massive. I mean, I've wrote down here that how much the away and home form is completely swapped. Start of the season, away form, absolutely brilliant. Scoring for fun, keeping clean sheets. And home form, we're shipping goals left, right and centre and couldn't score. We just couldn't score at the start of the season at home. And then all of a sudden, it's like there's the momentum shift. We're playing brilliant at home. The fans are getting behind it more. I mean, even the West Ham's starting to get a bit behind the players.
It's good to see.
Saw them the other week bouncing around in the West Ham, which you never usually see. So that means it's obviously getting the players together. I feel like now at home, you've got the Johnny Jackson and Skiverton staying, for another few years. You've got that. It feels like everything at Plough Lane is there to stay, sort of thing as well. Joe Lewis getting him, and it's just everybody's just getting together and thinking, right, this is our own now. We need to start performing in front of our own fans.
Yeah, I think, and we'll talk about Johnny Jackson and Terry in a minute, but like I think we're looking more long term. It's really positive to see, and especially because we've got a manager and assistant manager which aren't really Wimbledon related. I think that's really helped as well. Like we had Neil Wardley, like nothing wrong with Neil Wardley, but he did really well. And we had Wally Downs and so many players, so many managers who have played for Wimbledon before, and it's just nice to see something fresh. And then we have Craig Cope helping out as well. I think he's done a brilliant job. Hats off to him. But Plough Lane, yeah, it's starting to feel more of a home, more of a fortress, especially when we look at Kings Meadow back in the day. No team wanted to go there. And I think last season it was so easy for other teams to pick out, to get points at Plough Lane. It just seems so easy. But yeah, it's good to see that. And I think the atmosphere is really building as well at Plough Lane. It's always getting better game by game. Hector, we've had a really good run at Plough Lane. Do you think that will continue? And how important is it for you that we have a strong run of form at Plough Lane?
It's incredibly important because over the years, the last 2 years we've been at Plough Lane, our form's been absolutely shocking. I think this is the first time that we've hit very good form at Plough Lane, and it shows in the attendances as well. The attendances have picked up. We have something like a average about 8,000, and obviously that's going to be good for the club, and obviously more fans to get behind the players and bring more results every week.
Exactly. Kian, does the away form need to improve? Just because, especially when you look at the start of the season, I'm to be honest, I'm kind of glad it's swapped. I think picking up points at home is more important than away. But to be fair, we've had some scrappy draws away. I think Bradford, we maybe should have got 3 points. Does the away form need to improve to kind of catch up to the teams in front? Because we could easily, we have some tough away games coming up. Accrington on Tuesday is very tough. It's a tough place to go and pick up any sort of points. I don't want to say anything bad about Accrington, but when we won there last time, we didn't win for 30 games after that. But yeah, Kian, does the away form need to improve in your eyes to kind of keep the momentum going?
Yeah, I mean, with these away games, we seem to just hold back on. We seem to be very defensive in our away games now. We used to Well, obviously we had Al Hamadi before, so it was a lot easier to attack and score goals. But then without him, it seems like we're holding back.
Yeah.
And I feel like we definitely need to pick up the pace. Josh Kelly needs to get a few goals, and we need to pick up the away form to really catch up to the sides, because it seems like every time we get the advantage of the teams above us losing or drawing, we always draw as well, and we never get that win to get above and into the playoffs.
Exactly. I'm just looking at the last time we won away from home was Crawley. So we haven't won away from home this year, Crawley. What a day that was. But yeah, to be fair, we've had some tough away games. It's tough to go and beat Wrexham, even MK. It's a tough place to go to. Peterborough, even Bradford is really tough. But we've got easier ones with Accrington, Doncaster, and then we've got Notts County. So that's not easier. But yeah, we need to pick up the form, especially away from home, just to keep up the momentum. And especially because most of our away games left are against teams in the top half. You got Notts County, Crewe up there, Stockport. So yeah, that definitely needs to improve. Hopefully against Accrington on Tuesday, we can get 3 points there, get a first away win in 2024. We're going to move on to the next topic. We have a lot of injuries, to be fair. We have Jono Lewis. Reeves should be back. He was out kicking a ball before the Barrow game. And to be fair, he looked absolutely fine, didn't he, Hector? He looked fine. And John Kamani Gordon picked up a little knock. He looked fine as well. He was doing normal running and everything. And the players coming in, and I'm going to include suspension. So we have Callum Bailly, Huss Byler, and then we have Ogundare Ball coming in. Let's talk about Armani Little and James Ball. Scott, how do you think them two have done it? Or how do you think Ball has come in and just changed it up a little bit?
Yeah, Ball for me is very defensive as a midfielder. I mean, when Jake Reeves and Armani Little get on the ball, they do look forward a lot. Ball's in there just to calm everything down, and it is nice to see. The start of the season when it was him and Morgan Williams, Ball was doing the defensive work, playing it back, and letting Morgan Williams do, the attacking work sort of thing. And they balanced out yesterday as well, because Armani Little, his legs carry Ball through the game. I mean, Ball he's no slouch, don't get me wrong, but he he knows where the pass has got to go and receive all the time. Whereas Armine Little runs around like a madman, which we love to bits at Wimbledon, but he's got a lovely ping of a pass in him that sets off and goes forward. I mean, the assist yesterday from Little for Boogle.
What a ball!
It weren't a great corner, so he got away with one. It wasn't a great corner, and he got it back, cracking ball in. And then, I mean, he was the one that hoofed it forward, really, for Kelly to charge down the keeper, for then Curtis to get in. So it's Armine Little's balls that cut through defences, and it's ball that's doing all the doggy work that people don't realise, which is nice to see. And it'll be interesting to see if ball gets dropped again, because ball had a great spell at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But if we keep on winning, why change it?
I also want to point out a little bit more about ball, especially in the second half when we were just pushing and pushing for a third. When Jake Reeves kind of gets into the centre-back role and just passes it around, which is always good to see. And Ball did that yesterday in the last 15, 20 minutes. I think that's what, Hector, you said. I can't remember if it was you. I think it was. And then we got Jack Curry more forward. So Brown dropped into left-back, where he's obviously a lot better there. And then he pushed up to... and then Jack Curry, pushed up to left wing, getting more forward, which is good to see. Ogundere has come in for Husbilla. Kian, how do you think Oggs has done since he's came in, and does he keep his place when Husbilla? I think he's back for Accrington. So yeah, how do you think Oggs has done, and does he keep his place?
Yeah, I think Oggs has always been a better right back than Billa. Really, I think it's just the attacking threat Billa has that really stood out to people, and that's why he's went over Oggs at that point. But when Oggs has came back into the team, he can defend, which Billa seemed to not be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what we really need, and it just it makes a solid back four when Oggs is in the team, and Billa just ruins that. Really, it's sad to say, but it's true.
I just want to say yesterday their best player was our left winger, Newby. Yeah. And Ogundere had his hands full with him. Newby didn't really create that much. But if it's against Byler, he's probably getting done, But if we're playing with the play where we're playing, with our wingers, attacking wingers, Tilly and Curtis, if they're the wingers, they're going to keep on banging on going forward. You need two solid fullbacks. And if Barley's going up, bombing up and all, you don't need it. You just need a solid right back and solid left back. We've got the best left back in the league. And Ogundere is a 7 out of 10 every single week. So just keep him there. He wins headers. He judges the ball, which Barley hasn't recently. And, he's a strong lad.
Scott, just moving on from that. Obviously, defensively, we've looked really well in the last couple of games. When everyone's fit, I know it's kind of hard to judge Kofi Barmer after the last 2 games, but I thought he's been brilliant. What would be your ideal back four when everyone's fit? A tough one. Yeah,
it's a tough one, but you can't turn your nose up at Joe Lewis and John Owen together. Having the way how we've played with Barmer and Brown actually helps, because when it was Callum Bailly and Lewis, not having a left-footed centre-back, you really struggle with it.
Yeah.
Brown being left-footed helps Barmer. I wouldn't like to see Joe Lewis come back and then Barmer go to left centre-half. I like to have the balance of two, and we've got the balance of two with Jono and Lewis. So I would bring them 2 back in, as much as I like Barmer. And Ogundere, Curry, no doubt about it. Thing is with Barmer as well, if Barmer's on the bench, bring him on. If we're struggling for a goal, get him to throw some missiles in. He's the sort of player we could do with. He's a very good utility player for us, he'll be, and it'd be nice to see if we could actually get him at the end of the season fully.
Yeah,
but that's
all. Hector, Josh Kelly has come in since Ali Al Hamadi has gone to Ipswich. Obviously, a shame that he's gone, but I think we've recruited quite well. Josh Kelly played decent against Bradford, got a lot more opportunities yesterday against Barrow. Maybe should have got a goal, but I think their goalkeeper did pretty well. When will Josh Kelly start scoring, and how do you how do you think he's done since he's arrived at the Dons?
Honestly, I think he looks promising. I think he just needs a goal for the confidence, and then I'll be banging them in left, right, and centre. You never know when that goal comes. He was really unlucky yesterday not to get one. I mean, the first one-on-one he had, it happens,
Yeah.
Try to take it on the keeper, it happens. But
it's good that he has the confidence to do it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The second one, the keeper, that's just an unreal save. He's moved his hand in the last second and he just smashed it away. But I think once he bags one in a game, I think he'll be unstoppable from then. I think he just needs that little bit of confidence in him.
Let's hope so. And especially when you look at Ali Al-Hamadi, he took 8 games to score for us. So, and to be fair, he should have, and Josh Kelly should have scored yesterday. So if you look at that, and then Josh Kelly would have scored in his second game, then there's improvements in that. But I agree. Whenever he gets his first goal, he'll keep bagging them in. And just saying, the ball from James Tilley, he outside of his foot to play Josh Kelly, and that was absolutely brilliant. And that's what I think we tried to do that at Bradford as well, but it just didn't really work out. Especially when you look at the when you look at the Bradford pitch, it was absolutely awful and couldn't really play on it. Talking more about contracts, Bugle and Armani Little, their contracts run out at the end of the season. 2 very key players that we should be looking to sign up. Let's start with Kian with Bugle. He's been really, really bright ever since. Obviously, he had a really good combination with Ali, but ever since Ali's gone, he's been a really bright spark. Scored against Mansfield, a really good goal, and scored yesterday a brilliant goal as well, a brilliant header, which is so hard to save, especially when you head it into the ground and up into the net. Their keeper couldn't really do much about it. Does Bugle need to sign a contract in your eyes, or if we don't go up, do you think it will happen?
I mean, Bugle's a target man we need in the team. He is a very important player. Obviously, I don't know what's about him, but he just seems to control the ball very well. He seems to be very composed, and he's the player we need at the top. Because if we don't have that tall cam, then sadly we're just not going to be winning balls in the air. And with Little, well, we won't be able to, play those amazing long balls over to the wingers and whatnot. Obviously, we would have Reeves, but I feel like the Reeves-Little partnership is the perfect midfield we could have. Maybe even the best midfield I've watched as a Wimbledon fan.
And I think those two could easily play with each other in League One next to each other. I think absolutely easily. Hector, do you think those two should sign up? And do you think it's realistic? Let's say we stay in League Two. I think there'll be a lot of interest for Armani Little to us. Whenever and when we played Wrexham fans like Armani Little was the best player for Wimbledon. Do you think it's realistic for both of them to sign new contracts at the end of the season?
Yeah, I definitely think that they both looked amazing this season. Armani Little throughout the season, he's just been really consistent. He hasn't had a period where he's sort of been off at all. Bugle, you can see the impact he makes. Like when he was off from international duty, we had that little bit of spell where we were pretty terrible, and then he comes back and we looked a lot stronger.
Scored straight away.
Yeah, scored straight away. So he makes that impact in the squad. So I think it is quite crucial that we snag both of them up for next season, if we get promoted or if we stay.
Exactly. Scott, what about yourself? How important is Bugle and Little to the team? I think Bugle's amazing when he just runs at defenders and he's a target man as well. Do those two need to sign up, and how important are them two to our squad?
Oh, massive. Bugle's absolutely massive. He starts the defending off for us. You always, the ironic thing saying, oh, we defend from the front, but he actually sets off the defending from the front. He stops the pass going from defender into midfield, and that's something that not many players can do for us. I mean, you put Harry Pell in there, and it's straight past him. So Bugle's massive, and Little is massive as well. He's the energy. He's the Danny Moorman of this squad. I said at the start last season we need to just go 4-4-2, Brexit it a bit, playing the football that we do, but we've gone 4-4-1-1, and it's actually worked really well. And Little having the legs in there with Reeves, and obviously, like you said, and balls going forward. Get the contract written up straight away, if you ask me.
Let's hope so. I think those are the only two which have contracts at the end of the season. Hopefully, get them on super long-term, life-term contracts. I think that would be.
Little obviously loves us, doesn't he? Little obviously loves us because he come back. Yeah, had a loan spell last year, and the first 3 or 4 games, I think we were in the sponsorship with your dad. One of the games, and me and my dad picked him as man of the match. He was brilliant that game against Carlisle. But then he had an off time, but he's going to have an off time when he's playing in midfield with Alex Woodyard. Having somebody like Jake Reeves next to him and James Ball, he's only going to get better. So, yeah, get him back up. He obviously loves us. So,
I think that shows how well the recruitment has been over the summer, especially when you have Alex Woodyard. And who else did we have in midfield then? I can't even remember. But yeah, we had Alex Woodyard in there. Hector, how important has the recruitment been over the summer and in January? I think we've done really well, especially we've brought in, I think experience in Jake Reeves is so important for this league. I was talking on Don's TV before the game. We were talking a lot about experience, how there's so many good players in this league which have dropped down into this division to try and get their teams promoted. How important is experience, like especially in the midfield when you look at Jake Reeves? How important is experience to a team to kind of balance out everything?
Yeah, the recruitment over this season has been brilliant compared to last year. We've brought in so many players with a mix of experience and young talents as well, and I think we've been spot on with all of it. We didn't lose many. Well, we only lost 2 players in January, which is, you could say, that's a success compared to how many we brought in. And we do have the element of young talents that are upcoming, going up the leagues. Like we brought in Ali. That was a risk and it absolutely paid off. So, and then we have, Lee Brown, lots of experience there. We're still bringing in players with experience and it's still clearly showing to pay off. Like, I think that we could say the same with O'Toole. He's quite old and he's had a long career. So he's a bit of experience as well. So he could have something in him. But I think it is very crucial to have that balance. And I think we do have that. And the recruitment from the summer and January has showed we have that balance and we have recruited very, very well.
Exactly. Kian, obviously we have the massive combination of Johnny Jackson. We're just about to move on to that after this question. But we have the great combination of Johnny Jackson, Craig Cope. Ever since Craig Cope's come in, he's done a brilliant job bringing in players which he knows are going to be brilliant for Wimbledon. How important has Craig Cope, ever since he's come in, how important has it been? And especially when you look at the summer transfer window, will we keep on bringing these really good players and then hopefully building them up more and selling them on for money?
I feel like if we keep Craig Cope at the end of the season, we'll definitely make the signings we need to, if we don't get promoted, to get promoted. And if we get promoted, I think he'll easily be able to attract players that are, a lot better than what we've seen in recent seasons with, random low needs that we've never heard of and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's great for the future of the Wombles.
Yeah. Scott, and especially when we look at the Meet the Manager, it was a really positive hour and a half, 2 hours of talking from Craig Cope. Everything looks really positive for the future. Is it good to see that we've signed up Johnny Jackson and Terry Skiverton on new contracts, looking more at the future? Craig Cope's hopefully going to be there. What do you think about that?
Very good, but very odd timing. I thought it was very odd timing. I mean, do you do it towards the end of the season? If we're sort of playoffs and say, look, we've got here this year, we're going to stay. But I'm happy. I like Skiverton as well. I think Skiverton gives a bit of the experience to Jackson as well at times. And just touching on how them two have developed, 2-0 up at home to Barrow. Alex Pearce is coming on and we're playing 5 at the back. We would have done literally start the season. If that had happened, that's what would have happened. And or last season when we kept throwing away leads. But now I feel like he's evolved into more of a proper manager. He's bought into the Wimbledon ethos and of the club and everything. And he's positive. It's everything, like you say, we're future-proofing ourselves with the signings, putting players on 2-year contracts, and Johnny Jackson and Skiverton another 2 years for them. Hopefully Craig Cope stays. Cope stays. And then obviously the ground as well. It's future-proof. We can extend the ground. Everything we're doing as a club now is making sure we never, ever get into the position where we was. And we just carry on climbing and carry on building the squad, building the ground, and having that proper Wimbledon family, environment around everywhere. And that's what Jackson's bought into. He loves the fans, and he actually does love Wimbledon. I mean, the celebrations at Mansfield the other week. Not many times you see Jose Mourinho's protege running down the touchline at Plough Lane.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good to see Johnnie Jackson. And especially if he didn't love the club, then he probably wouldn't have signed a new contract. So it's good to see that he's committing his future to Wimbledon. The same with Terry Skiverton. Hector, this is pretty much the same question. Johnnie Jackson, Terry Skiverton signed a new contract. Was it the right decision? Was it the right timing? And do they deserve to have a new contract?
I don't think it was the right timing. I think it's a little bit premature because, we're coming up to a sort of period where players are starting to get injured, and we're starting to face tough. We're going through a phase where we're about to face a lot of tough opponents.
Yeah.
How they deal with this phase, that's when I would have made the decision to sign the new contract. I think if we struggled during this phase and we dropped down to like just below mid-table, I think don't sign it. But if I was in mid-table, I'd be happy. Pick up a few wins during this period. I think would have been happy with it. But if they can get through this period, still in and around the playoffs, around mid-table, it's a decision.
Exactly. I think if we're just pushing for playoffs on the last maybe month of the season, just trying to get in there. If we don't in the end, then fair enough. There's so many good teams in this league. But yeah, on Don's TV yesterday, we were talking about what is success for us this season. We've had, obviously last season was poor. If there was another 2 or 3 games in the season, we probably could have got relegated to non-league, which we probably won't talk about. But I think I don't know, it's just like the success of the club. Kian, where do you think, or oh God, I can't even think about my questions. What is success to you for this season?
What do you mean by that?
So obviously we had a really bad season last season, and especially because we've signed up Johnnie Jackson and Terry Skiverton. What is a successful season in your eyes, and where should we be finishing?
Honestly, after these few performances, with even the injuries and how cohesive the team is, even with the injuries, we should be ending playoffs because we are such a good team and we deserve those playoff places.
Yeah, I hope so. Scott, what does success look like for you come the end of the season? Where should we be finishing, especially if obviously Johnnie Jackson and Terry have signed new contracts, but what does success look for you at the end of the season?
Like at the start of the season, I would have said I'm happy with mid-table, but I feel like we've invested so much into this squad now. And I said at the start of the season that, but after Wrexham at home, I just felt there's something in this team to get playoffs, and that's where success will be. If we do what we did the other year but when we got promoted from League 2 last time, if we sneak in the back door again in 7th and then manage to get away to the playoff final, there's no stopping this club the way we are together as a unit. So success for me, definitely playoffs. But start of the season, if you'd asked me, I would have just said mid-table obscurity.
Exactly. I think that's what Mr. Colin Mance said as well. We're going to come 14th every single season in League 2. I remember him saying that. It was quite funny. Yeah. We've got a very, very tough week coming up. We're playing Accrington away on Tuesday night and Morecambe on the Saturday. It's 2 teams that we lost against in a space of a week, I think it was. We lost 4-2 to Accrington and 4-1 to Morecambe. I think that was in a space of a week. That might be wrong. But 2 horrible results against them. We should have been probably picking up more points, but Morecambe, they look really good against us. But we'll talk about Accrington first. We need to keep our form going. At the moment, Accrington sit 13th in the table, 4 points behind us, 5 points off the playoffs. And especially when you look at the next 2 games, and then we play Morecambe, which are 12, 3 points behind us. If you get 6 points from this game, you're pushing more and more away from the playoffs. You're pushing more and more away from mid-table and getting closer to the playoffs and the automatic spots. Teams will slip up at the top, especially Barrow did. They lost 2-0 to us on the weekend. Hector, let's start with you. Obviously, we've got Accrington away, a tough place to go to, but we've had good memories against Accrington before in the playoffs. We beat them 2-0 at their place last time we played Accrington. What do you see happening in this game?
Yeah, obviously it's not going to be an easy game. They're also pushing them playoffs as well. they'll be wanting to get promoted straight away after they got relegated. It will be really tough, but I reckon 3 points is very doable, especially with the team we have and the way we played against third place Barrow at the time. So I think we will manage to grab 3 points, or a point at least.
I think I'll take a point, but I think 6 points is crucial. When we look at their recent form in the last 5 games in the league, on January 1st, they beat Salford 3-0. They lost 2-1 to Gillingham. They narrowly beat Forest Green 1-0. A 0-0 draw with Grimsby followed that. And then they lost 2-1 to Milton Keynes franchise on the weekend. In a little bit of bad form, to be honest. They will want to turn that around. Scott, what do you see happening from this game, especially because we're in decent form, but it's a tough place to go to? What do you think will happen?
Yeah, it's a tough place, but we've got a great record there. So I just expect us to go there and take 3 points and then come straight back home. You look at who they've played. They beat Salford and Forest Green. They're the last 2 wins and not the last 7. You know, Forest Green bottom of the pack, holding everybody up, and Salford are in pretty shocking form as well. So, I mean, out of all the games we've had recently, I'd say that Accrington are the one with the 3 points written all over it, really. Bradford away, like I say, tough place to go. We only got a point there. Should have had all 3. A couple of penalties, shots that definitely would have, any other day would have been given. Accrington, for me, 3 points there. Down at the Wham Stadium, I believe it's called.
Are you going to that, Scott? Are you going on Tuesday night?
Potentially, depending on work and what time we get back, because it's still a good. It's a 2-hour drive still for me. I mean,
that is true.
But
it will be.
We like going there on a Tuesday night. We've got happy memories there on a Tuesday night. So
exactly.
2 times we've been, we've seen the team win. One of the times was when we had that howling weather, wind and rain and everything. We won then, and obviously the playoff semi-final when we all were on the pitch celebrating with
exactly.
And
we've got some amazing memories. I'm just looking at the last time Accrington beat a team in the top half was when they hosted Wrexham at home. They beat them 2-0, and that was back on the 18th of November. And then pretty much, ever since then they've only beaten teams at the bottom. Just they haven't been in good form. Kian, moving on to you. It should be 3 points on Tuesday, but Accrington, I thought they were quite good against us at home. They gave us quite a shock, to be honest. We were playing quite well before that, and then we had the first half against Accrington last time was awful, but then we tried to claw it back, but then unfortunately they got the 4th goal to get the 3 points. What do you think will happen? Will there be a turnaround from the last time we played Accrington, and will we keep up our form?
I feel like it's a needed 3 points to keep up the momentum. Like, we seem to bottle it a lot when we get near the playoff pack in recent times. So, I mean, Accrington I don't really know much about them, to be honest. Obviously, they beat us 4-2 at home. I can't really remember. Were they in the playoffs at that time?
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Probably near.
To be honest, when Accrington played us, that was their 5th win in a row in all competitions. So they could have been maybe around the playoffs. Their form at the start of the season looked better, and they've dropped off a lot. So,
definite 3 points then, because we cannot let it slip against teams that are below us. It's just, I know we've got injuries and whatnot, and we seem to not be doing as well away from home, but we really need the 3 points.
Hector, what about yourself?
You asked me already.
Did I? That is awful from me. My bad. It's been pretty long.
It's just interesting. Just had a look. That lad that scored 2 past us at home when he absolutely drummed us.
Yeah.
Played 31 minutes of the week and then wasn't in the squad yesterday.
Interesting.
So that'll be interesting to see if he's playing. But the only worry I've got is Accrington, if I remember rightly, are quite big and physical.
Yes.
And with Balmer and Brown at the back, we're not ideally, strong in the air. I mean, Brown is meant to win the headers. So that's my only concern. But, tight pitch, if we can play our football, we'll be fine.
We will see. I really hope, because especially as we have Morecambe, another team which is in and around the mid-table, trying to push for playoffs. And we'll talk about Morecambe next. And then after that, we'll get our score predictions and close the podcast off. Morecambe, they come into this game, to be honest, a lot better form than Accrington in their last 5 games since January 13th. They had a 1-1 draw with Mansfield, which, to be honest, I think they'll take. It's a really good point against Mansfield, even though we got all 3. They haven't actually lost to Mansfield. That's quite a good stat. They beat MK 2-1 at their place, lost 1-0 to Colchester, which was a shock. But Colchester obviously got the Cowley brothers in, and they're trying to slip closer into mid-table now. They beat Crawley 2-1 and then beat Sutton United 1-0 on the weekend. I don't really know what's going to happen in this game. They look quite good. They did look quite physical at the back, and they have pacey wingers. It's going to be a tough one, but obviously the home form looks really good at the moment. Kian, will we get... So let's say we get 3 points against Accrington. Let's hope so, and then we should be able to push into the playoffs if other teams around us drop points. What do you think is going to happen against Morecambe? Will we get a better result than last time against them? We were there. It was a horrible day.
I feel like Morecambe's a big one. It's a big test, really, for the squad. Obviously, to come back from that 4-1 defeat away from home, where it just was a terrible performance. But honestly, I feel like we're going to go on a winning streak. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like we're going to go on a winning streak or an unbeaten streak at least, because we just look like such a strong team at the moment, and Reese might be back soon as well. So that will even be that. I feel like he might be back for this game. It seems like it. And that would be a major positive to the squad. Obviously, Ball's performing, but now we know that Ball can be an immense super sub if he wants to. So, I'm expecting 3 points from both games, but I think we're going to get a 4.
Yeah, I think I'll take 4. I'll happily take 4. Scott, Morecambe at home, 6 days from now. What's going to happen in your eyes? Should we be picking up 3 points?
Yeah, definitely 3. I think, like Kian said, we're going to go on a winning streak now. I think we're going to get the next 3 games 9 points. I think the other one's Crawley at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, two games at home and then an away game where we've got very good form. So I fancy us there. Morecambe have lost their best player, the striker, Michael Mellon. He's gone back to...
Really?
He's gone back to Burnley and then sent back out on loan to Dundee, I think.
Dundee?
Okay.
Yeah, he's in the Scottish Premier League now. So not having him, I think he scored a hat-trick past us. Yeah, he did. He scored a hat-trick past us last year.
He did score a hat-trick, yeah.
Yeah, so, and obviously, having them 3 goals, it's a 1-1. So if they haven't replaced him, they haven't got Stockton no more either. He obviously played us on Saturday.
Yeah.
And if they haven't got an out-and-out striker.
Other striker, which they have, he's played 22 games, called Gerard Garner. He scored 5 goals and got 1 assist in 22 games. And then when you have a look at their other attackers, it's literally a right winger which has got 2 goals in the whole season.
So you've got to be looking at a 6-point week, haven't you? And you could be really happy.
You hope so, yeah.
Saturday night we should be sitting down and tucking into a Ruby Murray, and everybody would be happy with a 6-point week. I can't see anything else, to be quite honest with you. I think win on Tuesday night, and then we'll just follow it up with the win at Fortress Plough Lane, and then another win at Fortress Plough Lane on Tuesday against Crawley.
And then we play Doncaster after that, who are in horrible form.
Yeah, horrible form. But last year when we went there, it was an absolute, shower of, it was shocking last year. And the year before that was the first away game of the season, I think.
After COVID.
Yeah, and we were brilliant, but that was many moons ago with probably only one player now in the squad from that then.
Should we actually have a look? Oh no, wait. Let's have a look. So when we played Doncaster, what was the score? We beat them 2-1 away from home.
We beat them 2-0, I think.
2021 it was. Is there anyone in the squad there? So we have Palmer, McCormick, Asal, Radoni, Hartigan, Woodyard, Guinness Walker, Nightingale, Hennigan, Che Alexander, and Zanev. So it's 11 different players.
So there's only Zanev that gets in our matchday squad.
Yeah. And even when you look at the bench, we've only got Callum Baye, which is still at the club, on the bench.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, I mean, when it says something when we played Doncaster last time and we were awful. Charlie Lakin was playing in midfield for them and he ran the show against us. And this is the same Charlie Lakin that hardly got a kick with us. So it shows how far we've come. So we've got a string of games now where we should be thinking, let's be kissing the arse of Barrow in third place.
Exactly. We are not far away from them now. 7 points. Hector, Morecambe at home. Should we be picking up 3 points? Should it be a successful week of 6 points to push us into the playoffs? What's going to happen at Morecambe?
You know what? 6 points would be ideal. It'll be brilliant, to be right up there. I think if we get 6 points, we'll be well within the playoffs. So that 6 points is definitely ideal. But we're obviously playing Morecambe just as they're starting to hit a little bit of form, beating a lot of sides. So it won't be easy. But at Fortress Plough Lane, I think we will pick up 3 points, and it will be a 6 point week.
I hope so. And especially when you look at March, when you've got really, really tough games, picking up points against...
isn't it?
Yeah, picking up points in this month when you've got Accrington, Morecambe, Crawley, Doncaster. Those are teams which are... every team is below you in mid-table or near the relegation zone. And then when you have March, you have MK, Grimsbury. I actually thought Grimsbury were a good side when we played them first game of the season, but ever since then, they've dropped off. Then you've got Notts County. Gillingham is a tough team to play against. Even Newport is a good. They're a good side. They've got Will Evans. But yeah, I'm really, really, really hoping it's a 6 point week. I think that will boost the confidence of the players. And then a couple of weeks after that, hopefully before MK, we will definitely have Reeves back. But don't know about Lewis and John. I may be one of them. But just to close off the podcast, we'll go for our score predictions. Firstly, of Accrington away on Tuesday. Kian, let's start with you. What do you think the score is going to be, and who do you think are going to score the goals if we score any?
I'm going to go 2-0 again. And goal scorer, Kelly will get his first. Actually, no, Kelly will get his first on Saturday. But it will be... I'm going to go Barmer from
Header?
a corner.
Or a throw-in. And it's going to go in. It's not going to be out.
Straight in. And also, I'm going to go Bugle.
Yeah, that would be really good. And then Bugle would have scored in the league 3 goals in his last 3 games. So yeah, keeping up the form since Ali left. That's good to see. Hector, what's your score prediction for Accrington away, and who do you think are going to be the scorers if we score any?
Right, this might sound ridiculous.
Oh no, here we go.
5-0 Wimbledon.
We did beat him 5-1 not long ago.
Yeah, trust. So Kelly's going to get 2. Lee Brown's going to score. He's going to get 1.
Okay. So talking about Lee Brown, what celebration would he do?
Headbutt something. He's like headbutt something.
Would he do like the Bellingham and go up to the Accrington faithful behind the goal or something?
Or like jump on his belly or something. He'd do something like that.
Or he'd do that walk like that. He'll do that Accrington dugout. That'll avoid a brownie.
Who's going to score the other goals? So you got Kelly 2 and Brown 1 so far.
And then Curtis 1.
Nice, keep up the form.
And then Bass.
From what a corner where he's just going to...
It's on Tuesday night. I'm calling it. It's going to be really windy. And he's just going to smash it up and the wind's going to carry it and it's going to bounce over the keeper.
Imagine. I swear, what was his name? Was it Joe Day? He used to play for us. He scored when he played for Newport.
I thought that was the other Newport keeper.
I can't remember, to be honest.
They have a different one. I think it was him.
No, it was it. Oh, okay.
Townsend or something.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or maybe it was Joe Day. I don't know.
It might have been. Scott, what are your score predictions for Accrington and who's going to score the goals? Will we get 3 points?
Yeah, 3 points, 3-1.
Who's going to get the goals?
I can see us conceding, unfortunately. Josh Kelly's going to score a penalty.
Nice.
They're going to give the ball to Kelly, get him off the mark. I'm going to say Kelly 2 as well. And then I'm going to say a ball header from a corner.
I'd love to see ball scored. I think his only goal was a header against Forest Green from a corner early on in the season. So yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good to boost his confidence, and especially because he's playing well at the moment. Him to get a goal would be brilliant. And then we have a game on Saturday at Morecambe. The final thing on the podcast for today. It's been enjoyable, to be honest. I've enjoyed it today. Morecambe at home. Scott, what are your score predictions from Morecambe? Will we concede? Will we score? And who's going to get the goals?
3-2.
Oh, close.
Yeah, close. I feel like if we're going to win by having to outscore them. Just for the pure fact, the way they put it on us last time. I know they ain't got that Michael Mellon, but the way they put it on us last time with Johnson and Lewis at the back was quite scary at times. 3-2.
Who's going to get the goals?
Kelly's going to get one.
That'll be great. Curtis?
I'm going to go Kelly, Curtis, and Davison off the bench, and you're going to laugh your head off at that because you know how much I dislike him.
To be fair, I hope he gets a goal.
Yeah, he'll come on and score the winner for us in about the 84th minute, and we're sitting at home celebrating, but at the same time going, oh no.
He's going to do that. He's going to do his trademark celebration. Hector, what are your score predictions for Morecambe at home this coming Saturday?
I think we're going to win. We're just going to grab it 2-1 very late on. I think we'll get an equaliser in about the 70th minute from Kelly. And I think not much is going to happen. Harry Pell's going to be brought on.
Oh, no.
And he's going to hit one from 30 yards out. My goat, Harry Pell, into the top bins. And he's going to do something ridiculous. He's going to jump into the stands or something to celebrate.
I swear we did that at home once. Oh, I can't remember who. I think it was Gillingham at home. On our first season back at Plough Lane with fans. Like, I think it was Luke McCormick or something. No, Ollie Palmer. He scored and jumped into the south stand. It was just like...
The only thing is, Harry Powell scored the winner. Not realised he got booked for diving 20 minutes ago and then get a second yellow. That's what's going to happen. He'll be out for a game.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. That is a proper Harry Pell thing to do. 100%. Kian, final question for you to end off the podcast. What are your score predictions for Morecambe at home on Saturday, and who's going to get the goals?
So, wait, what's Morecambe's form looking like? Have they been winning recently?
Yeah, 9 points out of their last possible 12.
So they drew 1-1 with Mansfield, beat MK 2-1, lost 1-0 to Colchester, and then they've won their last 2 games with beating Crawley 2-1 away from home and Sutton 1-0 at home this weekend.
It's going to be tough, but I'm still going to go 2-0 again. We're going to win 2-0, 3 games straight. And scorers being Kelly Brace.
I would love to see that. He deserves a couple goals, but
he'll do at Ali when he's trying to get his hat trick.
What, miss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to go around the keeper spectacularly.
He just needs one to off his arse and he'll start scoring every single game. He's got it about him. He's got so much pace as well. He's gonna absolutely terrorise defenders.
Yeah, I hope so. I think Josh Kelly was a really good signing. He's looked bright. He's looked quick, pacey, everything. He's got a good shot on him. He's done well in non-league. And yeah, let's hope he has a good run of form. Hector, Kian, Derby Don, Scott, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. It was quite enjoyable this week. I really liked it. Having 3 other people was very good. Thank you for joining. Can I get a come on you dons by each and every one of you? Hector, you can start. A come on you dons.
Come on you dons.
Kian.
What a boring little boy.
Scott, can I get a come on you dons?
Come on you dons.
Nice one. Thank you everyone for watching.
You did as well.
Come on you dons. There we go. Everyone, thank you for watching. If you want to listen to it on Spotify or the other way around, it's available on both platforms. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll be back on next Sunday, hopefully after getting 6 points, 3 points against Accrington and 3 points against Morecambe. Thank you for watching, everyone. Come on, you dons.